What if one of Queen Letizia's biggest fears has nothing to do with royal duty and everything to do with personal experience? Because sometimes the lessons that stay with us the longest are the painful ones. The moments we wish we had handled differently. The choices we replay quietly. The pressure we remember feeling. And perhaps one emotional truth quietly follows Queen Letizia wherever Princess Leonor goes, wanting her daughter to avoid the struggles she once faced herself. Today, we're exploring one emotional and fascinating question. Why might Queen Letizia quietly fear Princess Leonor repeating mistakes from her own past? Because sometimes love means seeing danger before someone else notices it, especially when life has already taught you difficult lessons. Let's explore. Queen Letizia understands public pressure better than most. Before becoming queen, Letizia lived a very different life. A professional career, public visibility, national attention. Then suddenly, royal life arrived with enormous expectations. Criticism, scrutiny, constant observation, pressure to appear perfect, every gesture analyzed, every decision discussed. Perhaps that experience shaped her deeply. Because difficult moments often teach lasting lessons. And maybe Queen Letizia understands something Princess Leonor is only beginning to discover. Public life can feel emotionally exhausting, especially when expectations never seem to disappear. Mistakes sometimes look different in hindsight. Here's something deeply human many people understand. Looking back often changes perspective. Moments once handled emotionally, decisions made under pressure, situations that later feel complicated. Sometimes experience creates wisdom, and perhaps Queen Letizia occasionally reflects on difficult moments from her own journey. Not necessarily dramatic mistakes, but emotional lessons, moments she may wish had felt easier, quieter, less painful. Perhaps one emotional reality feels universal. Parents often want children to avoid struggles they themselves already experienced, even when they know life teaches everyone differently. Letizia may worry about the pressure of public attention. Here's one possibility people quietly wonder about. What if Queen Letizia fears Princess Leonor becoming overwhelmed by constant public pressure? Because perhaps she knows firsthand how emotionally difficult criticism can feel, how exhausting visibility becomes, how impossible perfection sometimes seems. Maybe she understands the emotional cost hidden behind public life. The pressure to always remain composed, strong, careful, controlled, and perhaps seeing Leonor slowly step into that world naturally creates fear. Because knowing what awaits someone you love can sometimes feel heartbreaking. What if the biggest mistake is losing yourself? Here's another emotional thought worth considering. Perhaps Queen Letizia's biggest concern has nothing to do with headlines. What if her deepest fear is something more personal? Losing individuality, losing peace, feeling trapped by expectation, forgetting personal happiness. Royal responsibility can feel enormous. And perhaps one emotional challenge involves protecting identity while carrying duty. Maybe Queen Letizia quietly hopes Princess Leonor remembers something important. You can carry responsibility without losing who you are. That lesson alone could feel deeply personal. Mothers often try to protect their children from pain. Here's something many people immediately understand. Parents remember difficult experiences, heartbreak, pressure, stress, mistakes, and often they quietly try protecting children from similar pain. Sometimes too much, sometimes imperfectly, but usually from love. Perhaps Queen Letizia occasionally becomes especially protective because she already understands challenges outsiders rarely see. Maybe she knows certain struggles arrive quietly. And perhaps that knowledge naturally creates worry. Because love often makes risks feel bigger, especially when someone matters deeply. Princess Leonor's future may feel very different than Letizia's past. But here's something hopeful worth considering. Princess Leonor's journey may not repeat old struggles. The world changes, royal expectations evolve, families learn, experience matters. Perhaps Queen Letizia's own challenges actually help Princess Leonor. Maybe lessons from the past become protection for the future. Guidance, support, understanding, and perhaps that emotional wisdom may eventually become one of Leonor's greatest strengths. Because sometimes difficult experiences help families grow stronger together. Why stories like this feel so relatable? People connect deeply with stories like this because emotions like these feel universal. Parents worrying, children growing up, wanting loved ones to avoid painful lessons. Those experiences exist everywhere, inside palaces, inside ordinary homes. Because one emotional truth feels familiar to many families. Sometimes loving someone means quietly fearing they may someday hurt the same way you once did. And hoping they somehow won't. The human side people sometimes forget. Sometimes people only see titles. Queen, princess, future queen, but beneath every royal story still exists something ordinary. A mother worrying, a daughter growing, family trying to protect one another. And perhaps one emotional truth feels hardest to ignore. Even queens may quietly carry fears about the future, especially when someone they love stands at the beginning of a difficult road. So, why might Queen Letizia quietly fear Princess Leonor making the same mistakes she once did? Perhaps not because she doubts Leonor, but because experience changes people. Maybe she understands pressure too well. Maybe she remembers how difficult public life can feel. Or perhaps one universal truth explains everything. Sometimes parents simply want life to feel gentler for the people they love most. Especially when they already know how heavy the road ahead may become. What do you think? Could Queen Letizia quietly worry more than people realize about Princess Leonor's future? Or do you believe Leonor's journey will be very different? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more royal stories, hidden truths, and fascinating discussions.